Hello, my name is Susan Champagne, and for my final lab report, I'm discussing how do scientific news articles compare to their scientific literature. The two articles I have are the news article from the BBC by Emma Wollacott, titled Creating Fuel from Thin Air with Artificial Leaves, and the primary source for that article, titled Molecularly Engineered Photocatalyst Sheet from Scalable Solar Formate Production from Carbon Dioxide and Water by Erwin Reisner and team. The article is from the BBC with a focus on business and technology. The author works in her article to interview the research teams formulating the technology with an approach from an economical side and a scientific side. It describes the energy production overall. She describes in simple terms basically how the devices work and how they are incorporating photosynthesis into energy production without going into too much depth. They primarily use sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water to make oxygen and formic acid, which is an energy-rich liquid fuel. She also interviews another team working to convert carbon dioxide to fuel through solar panels. At the end of the article, she discusses and analyzes the struggles in making these devices and how they can become viable for the economy. And she ends her article on a hopeful note that artificial photosynthesis will eventually generate clean energy. The science behind the article, it just shows how this artificial photosynthesis functions overall. It describes in detail the production and efficiency of a photocatalyst sheet that converts CO2 and H2O into formate and O2. It goes into great depth of the process and its scientific numbers and how all of it works. It shows images of the device, figures of the productivity, as well as the process of developing it. It addresses benefits of the device on the environment and how that could be a sustainable form of energy. It also discusses the difficulties of constructing the device and making it viable for economical use. Here's a figure illustrating the device's production of formate, oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide with relation to time. So how does the article live up to its science? The article is simple, pleasant, and very accurate in its information. It looks at different scientific methods for producing artificial photosynthesis, discussing both benefits and disadvantages to it. The article also discusses, it works to interview the scientists on the devices, so it gets its information from the source with very accurate and to-the-point info. It describes the processes in easy-to-understand terms with accurate imagery and analysis of the functionality. It also incorporates really beneficial economical analysis of the devices so that it's not just the science. And it utilizes both quantitative and qualitative descriptions of the devices as well and how they would function in the economy. However, it does not provide much detail into the construction or function of the devices beyond simple descriptions. It basically focuses on just describing the science in a very simple way that anyone can understand, but it does not actually go into too much detail on how they were made. The verdict. Emma Wollacott does a really good job basically discussing the future of artificial photosynthesis with relation to the economy. Her information is clear, to the point, and it analyzes how the devices work and how they could be incorporated really well. The interviews are a really great touch on the fact that they add different points of view to it as well as verify the knowledge. However, her article on the scientific side could benefit from more detail into the construction of the devices. But it's still a really good summary and a look at the scientific literature without reading the very confusing scientific literature. And here are the citations. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation.